Hello, I am Professor Williams, and I'm going to tell you about how English 102 can actually make your life better. So, one of the ways that my ability to argue properly and in such a way that will actually get me what I'm trying to get or help me accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish was when dealing with landlords. I moved around a lot. My husband was military for 20 years, and so we rented a lot of places over the years. And I'm telling you what, these landlords, they think about your deposit as money that goes in their pocket. They always figure that no matter what, they're going to be able to keep that deposit. But for those of you who have rented before, you know that the deposit is not meant to be a fee. If it was a fee, they would call it a fee. It's a deposit that you were supposed to get back. It's a refundable deposit. And it's just there in case of damage to the place or whatever. So anything beyond what they call normal wear and tear would be accounted for out of that rental deposit. So even if there's something wrong with your house or your apartment when you leave, you should still at least get some of it back, unless your place is completely trashed. I mean, obviously. Well, anyway, most of the places I've lived, I've been able to argue my way pretty clearly into what I deserve. However much I'm supposed to get back, that's how much I've gotten back. Well, there was this one particular landlord who I think he was new to the business or something because he was really not smart. And he was going to keep all of our deposit, even though there was literally nothing wrong with the house. I mean, the biggest thing was the yard because we hadn't watered the lawn and it was summer. This was in Washington State, so it doesn't rain in the summer. Well, there's, people who want to save water. There's a kind of a trend going around where people don't water their grass in the summer because they don't want to waste water. And I don't know, it's a long story. But anyway, my point is that this guy argued with me via email in writing. Okay, that wasn't smart. And he made one big mistake. He said, I am withholding your deposit. Well, I looked in the Washington State tenant landlord rules, laws, whatever, and it said specifically that they are never allowed to withhold a deposit under any circumstance. So using that verbiage, using that word was the fatal flaw for him. So when I took him and his organization to small claims court, I was able to get back not only all of my deposit, but an extra $1,000 because according to the law, that's what I was said that I was legally allowed to get. So how did I know that? Well, I was able to do the research. And that's one thing that this class teaches you is how to research. It also teaches you how to argue properly. And when I say argue properly, I mean like in such a way where you're not yelling and screaming like a crazy person, right? You're using or you're talking about valid arguments, valid reasons why you should get whatever it is you're trying to get. And in this case, it was my deposit back and it worked and I got it back. So that's just one way that this class has helped me. Now, another way is compensation. So in addition to refunds for different things, you can also possibly get compensation for things. Now, since my husband was military, we got the privilege of living in Spain for almost 5 years. It was wonderful. It was an amazing experience. But when we moved back to the States, we were restationed to Washington State, and we were waiting for our household goods to come back from Spain. As you can see and imagine, it's a long way. It has to go on a cargo ship and then it has to go on a train. So, a couple 3 weeks, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe a month even. But we had waited like, I don't know, it was crazy. It was like 2 or 3 months and we still hadn't gotten our stuff. Maybe even if it might have even been longer than that. And I remember it was Easter time because I was in the grocery store. and I was getting some things for my kids for Easter, and I got a phone call, and it was the moving company, and they said, hey, we know that it's been a long time that you haven't gotten your stuff, and we're really sorry for that, and we want you to know that we're looking for it. And I was like, looking for it? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know it was lost. and and they're like, yeah, is there anything we can do? And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm in the grocery store right now trying to get Easter basket stuff for my kids. I'm not really thinking about that right now. And they said, well, how about we send you a check for $100 for your kids' Easter baskets? Would that be okay? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to tell you you can't send me money. I mean, sure, why not? When I was busy, I wasn't really thinking about things, so I got off the phone. And then after later on that day, after I'd taken the groceries home and put them away and all that, I thought about it and I was like, wow, they were really quick to offer me money. There must be a lot more that I am entitled to. So I go and do the research and I find out that they owe me for loss of use because we were not able to have our stuff, like our pots and pans, our dishes, our furniture, nothing, like everything. We were living in a big house. We had gotten a few things from the thrift store to get us by until we could get our stuff. I mean, it was ridiculous. We were eating on a conference table, and I had an office in that house, and I was sitting on the floor working in my office. It was crazy. And so we didn't really think much of it because I guess, being in the military for so long, we moved a lot and we understood things happened, and we were just resilient, we learned resilience. But as I looked over it, I was like, wow, I could charge them for like hotel stays and restaurants. Like we could charge them a daily rate for all the inconvenience that we had because, if we didn't have our stuff and we didn't buy the things from the thrift store, we would have had to eat out all the time, right? And so we could have charged them for that. We could have charged them for a hotel because technically we didn't have beds. We were sleeping on air mattresses. So what I did was I looked at how much we had spent on everything, and I put that together in an itemized list. All the stuff that we had bought, the air mattresses, the stuff from the thrift store, whatever we had gotten because we were trying to get by until our stuff arrived. And I put that all together and I wrote in an email explaining, hey, I know that we could charge you a daily rate for hotel. We could charge you a daily rate for eating out, per diem, etc. But we're not going to do that because we didn't spend that money. But we did spend it on these things, and so we would like to be compensated for those things. And also, in addition to that, we would like some compensation for our trouble, the inconvenience that this has caused us. And I think it came to like $1,500, and yeah, we got a check for $1,500 exactly. But had I not been able to research, had I not known how to find that information and known how to effectively argue my position, I probably would have never gotten that stuff because, these companies, they don't want you to know what you are, um, what you are allowed to get from them for these situations. Okay, it's going to be up to you. And I mean, a little bit of research, I think that's worth $1,400, $1,500, don't you? Especially when this happened, which was like 10 years ago, which, we've $1,500 was a lot more 10 years ago than it is now. So yeah, this class can actually help you with things like that. Another thing that is related to money in your personal life that this class can help you with are refunds. For example, airplanes. If you have a flight and they change your flight to, it's like, I think it's 24 hours or something, I don't know, but there is this time limit and you'd have to research it, but if they change your flight, they owe you a full refund. Even if you have a non-refundable ticket, you are owed a full refund. So it's important to be able to know how to research things so that you can find out what you're entitled to. Okay. Another thing is Costco. If you're a member of Costco, did you know that their policy is that you can get a full 100% no questions asked refund on anything within a year of purchase? If you are not satisfied with something within a year, you can take it back. I don't know if it's the same for electronics, but I do know that they have this, and I've used it. I've taken things. I've been a member of Costco for many, many, many years, and I have definitely used their refund. Now, obviously you don't want to cheat. You don't want to use it in a way that's underhanded or in a way of theft. But obviously, if you buy something from them and you don't like it, like I don't know, one time I bought some dip, like it was the oh, I can't remember. It was one of them dips that they have in the big buckets, and we didn't like it, so we took it back. We got the money back. You know what I'm saying? So it's you can do that. And how do I know that? Because I read their terms and conditions. Another thing is college enrollment deposits. Now, when you get ready to go to university, a lot of the colleges are going to have these upfront deposits that are non-refundable. Okay. Well, my daughter did. This was years ago. She got accepted into a Florida university and she got a scholarship and all this stuff. And she had to turn in her $500 enrollment deposit by a certain date. And so she did. And then later on, like a couple weeks later, after the date, the expiration, the date that she had to have the deposit in by, they sent her a letter or email or something saying that she wasn't qualified for the nursing program, which was what she was applying for in the first place. She didn't qualify for that, so they put her in healthcare management. Well, she didn't want that. She didn't want healthcare management. She wanted nursing, and she was very upset, and she wanted her money back because they took that money under false pretenses. And so I was like, okay, well, you're an adult. You should try to do this on your own. And so I let her send an email and see if she couldn't get the money back. And of course, they sent her the pat answer email. Oh, yeah, we can't refund your money because it's non-refundable deposit, blah, blah, blah. So I jumped in and I researched and I looked at all the people, like the big names in their enrollment division, and I don't know, there were some other divisions, and I emailed I put them all these names on this email, and I explained how she was admitted under false pretenses. They accepted that deposit under false pretenses, and I threatened to inform their accreditation board, because the accreditation board is all about whether or not a college can exist. And so because I knew that, because I was able to research that information, I was able to get her deposit back very quickly. Now, when I say threaten to inform the accreditation board, I don't want you to think that I was disrespectful or rude or in any way using an angry tone. You never want to do that when you're trying to get something. But I just did the research and realized what I needed to do, and then I was able to get her deposit back. So moving on from money, although indirectly this can help you with money, job applications and interviews. What is the first thing that you have to send with your application? It's the cover letter. Well, let me tell you, if you don't know how to write effectively and efficiently, then your cover letter is going to be crap. And think about it. Your cover letter is an argument. Your cover letter is explaining to the hiring people why you should be hired, why they should even look at your job application, right? So that is something you learn how to do in this class. Another thing is the interview itself, because you are selling yourself. And so this class helps you to kind of understand your audience, put yourself in your audience's shoes, and in this case, that'll be the interviewers. Okay, that's your audience, and how to speak to them in such a way that shows them why you are the best person for the job, which again is argument. Now, in your personal life, you need to be able to argue properly, right? And actually, learning how to argue effectively will save you money, because if you stay in a relationship long enough, you will probably have a need to go to marriage or couples counseling or whatever. And it's expensive. It is not cheap. And let me tell you, I've been married for 30 years, and you don't get to 30 years without some kind of help. And we went to marriage counseling, and all they did was teach us how to argue. Okay, teach us how to argue in such a way that it wasn't mean or nasty, in such a way that you're both listening to each other, active listening, all that stuff. It's how to argue. So trust me, this class will definitely help you with that. Another thing is effective text messaging. How many times have you been misinterpreted or misunderstood through a text message? Well, if you learn how to think about your audience and how your audience might perceive the words that you're typing, this can help you to prevent those misunderstandings and possibly even arguments. Another thing this class teaches is critical thinking, and this honestly is the most important skill that you will ever have learn in college, believe me, because there are so many garbage stories out there like flat earth and Jewish space lasers. I mean, and when they try to sell you, the latest weight loss cure, I mean, this is all just garbage, okay? And so you being able to notice when when someone is trying to manipulate you, either through disinformation or massive advertising strategies such as, Coca-Cola and, oh my goodness, Target. If you have been in Target, you know how enticing that place is. If you go in the aisles are specifically designed to make you spend so much more money than you had planned on spending. So if anybody has a limited budget, and that is most of us in this world, you need to stay away from Target, because I'm telling you, I don't go. I don't go. If I get a gift card as a gift from somebody to Target, I re-gift it to somebody else, because that place is so dangerous. I went in there once in the past 5 years because I think one of my kids had a gift card to it, and as I was walking through the aisles, I started putting things in my cart, and I was like, wait a minute, I did not come in here to buy any of this crap. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy how this store is designed. It's very manipulative, and there's a lot of places that do that. AJ's Fine Foods. Oh my gosh, I've been there once. That's it. That place is a money pit. I mean, that makes you think that you're so good for spending $10 on an orange, like that's, this orange is supposed to be so much better than the oranges at the other stores, when it's really comes from the same exact place as everywhere else. It's crazy how they do that. But yeah, so this class helps you to see, how does, and this is kind of an extension to your rhetorical analysis that you learned in the first 101 class. So yeah, this class is a lot more useful than you might think. So yeah, English 102 is more than just about research. You're going to learn how to research for college. I mean, you're going to learn how to research for college. You're going to learn how to write a research paper. You're going to write a research paper, but you're also going to learn all these amazing skills that are going to help you with your life. So welcome to English 102. I hope you enjoy it, and please feel free to email me through Canvas anytime and ask any questions that you need. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on YouTube soon.